We're always told that walking is just about the simplest path to good health. But what if for you, that path is actually paved with pain? It's a really frustrating cycle. So, in this explainer, we're going to dig into a pretty surprising idea that the secret to a pain free walk doesn't start on your feet, but right here, in your chair. It's such a frustrating paradox, isn't it? You go for a walk to feel better, but instead of that nice post-exercise glow, you're just left with an aching back or sore knees. You end up feeling worse than when you started. So what's going on? Why is the world's most recommended exercise actually making things worse for so many of us? Let's break it down. Okay, so here's where the disconnect happens. We think walking is automatically going to strengthen our legs, but that's only true if the right muscles are actually firing. If they're not, walking becomes this compensation game. Your body forces other parts, like your joints and your lower back, to do a job they were never designed for. And that's not exercise, that's just a recipe for strain. So, what are these muscles that are slacking off? To find the source of the problem, we need to look at the powerful muscles that are supposed to be driving our movement, but are often, well, fast asleep on the job. Gluteal amnesia. Yeah, it sounds kind of funny, I know, but it is a very real term that physical therapists use. It basically describes what happens when your glute muscles, which are your body's powerhouse, they essentially forget how to turn on and do their job, and it's usually because of all the time we spend sitting. And this slide lays out the chain reaction perfectly. So hours of sitting makes the muscles at the front of your hips, your hip flexors, get really short and tight. And what that does is it sends a signal to the muscles on the opposite side, your glutes, to just chill out and switch off. But here's the kicker. When you stand up to walk, those glutes don't just automatically wake up. So your lower back is forced to pick up the slack, leading directly to that familiar ache. So the big takeaway here isn't to stop walking. No way. The solution is to wake up the right muscles before you even start. We need to reestablish that mind-muscle connection, that pathway from your brain to your glutes, basically priming your body for the movement it's about to do. Okay, so let's dive into the first of two really simple seated solutions to wake these sleepy muscles up. This first one is called the seated clamshell, and the best part is you can do it right now, right from your chair. All right, the setup is super simple. Just sit on the edge of a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Now, listen, this is the most important part. Don't just flop your knees open. Instead, I want you to focus on actively squeezing the muscles on the side of your hips to pull your knees apart. Hold that squeeze for about 3 seconds, and then slowly, with control, bring them back together. You should really feel that working deep in the side of your glutes. Okay, so that muscle you're feeling right now, that's your gluteus medius. It's an absolutely critical stabilizing muscle. You know that feeling when you're walking and you feel a little wobbly or like your hip is kind of dipping with each step? Well, that's likely because this muscle isn't doing its job. Regular walking often misses it, but this little seated exercise isolates it perfectly. All right, for our second move, we're going to shift gears a bit. We've woken up the stabilizing muscles on the side. Now it's time to engage the main engine, the big powerhouse muscle that's supposed to propel you forward, the gluteus maximus. For this one, you're going to scoot to the edge of your chair again. Lean forward so your nose is kind of over your toes. Then, pressing down hard through your heels, lift your bottom just 1 single inch off the seat. Now, don't stand all the way up. Just hang out in that hover for a second, feel those big glute muscles really switch on, and then slowly sit back down with control. So why is this so effective? What's the magic here? Well, hovering just an inch forces your glutes to take on your entire body weight, but in a very safe, controlled range of motion. Think about it. Unlike a deep squat that can sometimes bother your knees, this little move puts all the work and all the tension right where we want it, in the muscle, not the joint. Okay, so you might be thinking, how does sitting in a chair doing these little exercises actually make my walk better? It's a great question, and this is where we connect all the dots. See, these exercises aren't a replacement for walking. They're the essential prep work that makes your walk effective and, most importantly, pain-free. I love this analogy from the source material. It is just perfect. Think of your glutes as the engine for your lower body. And if that engine isn't turned on, well, the rest of the machine, your legs, your knees, your back, it's just not going to function properly. It all has to start with the engine. So when you do the seated clamshell and the chair hover, you are literally priming the engine. You're reestablishing that neurological highway from your brain straight to your glutes. That way, when you do get up to go for that walk, the connection is already live. Your body remembers, oh yeah, I'm supposed to use these muscles. And the results? Well, this is what you're going to start to notice when you put this into practice. With your glutes firing the way they should, the entire way you move changes. You'll probably find yourself standing a little taller. You'll feel less of that grinding pressure on your knees. Your balance is going to improve. And all of that leads to a stronger, more confident stride, which is your best defense against trips and falls. So it all leaves us with this really powerful thought, doesn't it? In a world that's obsessed with going harder and faster and doing more, could the secret to better movement actually be found in sitting still and just focusing? Maybe it's not about how hard you work, but about how intelligently you prepare your body to work.